Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the show. It's actually pretty late. Starting pretty late. I usually record, right when I get out of school on Tuesdays. After 7, I usually start recording. I just didn't feel like doing shit when I got home. So I decided to do it a little late, since I'm going to work pretty later tomorrow. It's October 24th. It's now 12:30 a.m., which means the show will be automatically released today. Every Wednesday, as you guys already know. Welcome to the show. I've already said that twice. It is nice and breezy here in San Antonio. For the past, I would say, week and a half, it's been raining for the most part. It's that cold rain, which means, fall has done its job. It's actually happening. From what I hear later on in the day, there's supposed to be a flash flood warning, which from what I gathered from, other sources means that it's just going to end up being hot again, which fucking why? This San Antonio weather is so bipolar. So it's just like it doesn't know what it's supposed to be. It's like in fall, just give us fall weather. Don't give us this fucking humid weather. In some, have it hot in the summer, and just have it breezy in the fall and have it cold in winter. It has to be that simple, right? But no, that's just how San Antonio likes to do business, I guess. They like to piss people the fuck off and make them hot when it's supposed to be cold and whatever. I don't run the weather, so what the fuck do I know? So yeah, anyways, let's just start off with it's a pretty big news week. Let's just start off with the news of the day. If you pretty much been living under a rock for the past 24 hours, last Monday, I should say, on Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns opened up the show, came out, not dressed in his ring attire, which usually he would be. He came out in a jeans and t-shirt and some really kind of random looking gold chain. It looked like the Rock gave him that from his 90s photo. Whatever, I'm not judging. Came out, cut a promo. He revealed something that I'm surprised nobody ever knew. I'm surprised that he never even said this in an interview once or twice. That for 11 years, since he was 22 years old, a year before he even started training to become a wrestler, he has been battling leukemia. He hasn't stated what type of leukemia, because there are different types of leukemia. But basically in 2008, that's when this disease came into fruition, and he was able to remiss it for the past 11 years, or past 10 years, I should say. And it came back, and as of now, he had to relinquish the Universal Championship, and as of now, there's really no timetable if or when he's ever coming back. Which, I'm not trying to make myself out to be like I'm the leukemia expert. I'm just, I don't know. It just, from what I hear, it sounds like something that he probably won't come back from. I'm just reading up on leukemia, the type of information you know about it. Remission means a person doesn't have symptoms of the disease and their blood cell counts are in normal range. Is it survivable? Survival rates vary depending on the subtype of AML and other factors. For example, most studies suggest that the cure rate for acute promyelocytic leukemia, a subtype of AML, is now higher than 80%, but rates are lower for some other subtypes of AML. curable. Acute leukemia needs to be treated when it's diagnosed with the goal of inducing a remission. Acute leukemias can often be cured with treatment. Chronic leukemias are unlikely to be cured, but treatments are often able to control the cancer and manage symptoms. What is the life expectancy? Expectancy was once only 3 to 7 years after the diagnosis of CML was determined. Today we measure. Yeah, that makes sense because he had it. He found out that he had leukemia in 2008, and this has been going on for 11 years. So he's already way past it. He's already kind of proven that theory wrong. What is the main cause of leukemia? The exact cause of most likely childhood leukemia is not known. Most children with leukemia do not have any known risk factors, so scientists have learned how certain changes in the DNA inside normal bone marrow cells can cause them to become leukemia cells. I said this more than once, when I found out, when I saw, because I didn't watch Raw, I don't really watch Raw that much, but I had to read about it online, and at first I thought it was a joke, because, of how Roman Reigns is considered, or was considered, kind of like the Antichrist of professional wrestling, and I said this before, even when I had Kevin Castle, I said, I don't hate Roman Reigns. I mean, I'm not a fan of the character, but, him as a person, I got nothing against him, from all accounts when I heard about him, he's actually a pretty good dude. He's a pretty stand-up guy. He does all the Make-A-Wish and whatnot. And then, this story breaks out and you start to hear more and more good stories about him. Pretty much everybody, not just in WWE, but people outside the WWE have been saying, pretty much been saying their well wishes to Roman. I know Kenny Omega said something. What is it? Bret Hart, made a comment. Shane Douglas made a comment earlier today. To see stuff like that is very refreshing. Just to know that the wrestling business at the end of the day is still kind of like a brotherhood. That everybody is willing to go either way and look out for their brothers and hope they're okay regardless of if they met them or not. It's when I see and hear stuff like that, it's very refreshing. I mean, I'm looking at more stuff. Madison Square Garden paid tribute to him. They even they put up a big sign in their jumbotron in the streets saying get well soon, Roman. USA Today covered it. I'm trying to look for the story. There's a story about a wrestler he's an indie wrestler. He actually wrestled at Seth Rollins's his wrestling school, and he told a story about Roman Reigns. And I'm trying to look it up right now. Hold on. Wrestler shares a story about Roman Reigns. Here we go. His name is Connor Braxton. It's actually a really interesting story. Come on. The fudge. Okay. I'm going to try and pull it up. Hopefully this thing isn't being all wonky. Alright, Connor Braxton. I'm just going to read off what he said. Little known fact after... come the fuck on. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. This computer's being wonky. Alright, little known fact. After I finished training at the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, I was without a pair of wrestling boots to use. With my first match a few days away and $0 to my name, I was frantically looking around for a pair of boots. I exhausted all my contacts in search of finding a pair and asked Seth if he knew anyone that'd be willing to sell some. and he told me Roman Reigns had a pair and that he would be willing to sell me. I was ecstatic, but also very poor. I asked how much he was looking to get for the pair, and he said he would ask Roman and see. Roman's question was pretty much, is he a good brother? And said you can have them. You can just have them. He said just make sure you pass the favor. You pass on the favor to someone else for the good of the wrestling business. And he finished it off with, Roman, you have no idea who I am. You went out of your way to help an inspiring professional wrestler have a chance. You are the goodest of brothers. The wrestling business is a much better place because of you. Thank you. Hearing that type of stuff, it's very refreshing. Roman has been known as a guy who's very private. Do I blame him for wanting to keep this kind of a secret? I don't know. I don't think he would want all the attention on him. That's the thing. I don't know how to say this without sounding weird. Maybe he didn't want sympathy. That's the thing. Because, I'm pretty sure there's some assholes out there that are going to say that this is a work. This can't be a work. If it's a work, then Roman Reigns is it will be the biggest asshole that ever existed, which he's not. This is not a work. This is real. That was legit emotion I saw on Monday. Especially towards the end of the segment where he went up and, embraced Dean and Seth. Seth was an emotional wreck and just, crying his eyes out, and Dean was trying to hold it together. And then that I'm not gonna lie, that actually choked me up a bit. But in a way, it would have been interesting if he maybe had told someone about it. Being that he does a lot of these Make-A-Wish with these kids. It would have been a way to kind of shed some light and maybe try and, use it as a way to find a cure. You know what I mean? Like, put it out the open, like to say, hello, I'm WWE wrestler Roman Reigns, and in 2008 I was, contracted with this, disease, and, if you know anyone that is going through this, A, B, C, and D, again, I obviously don't know Roman Reigns, so I'm just assuming he didn't want any attention on him, and he just wanted to keep his private life private. As far as the only thing you really know about Roman or Joe is that he's a married man. He has 3 kids. He has a daughter and twins, and he's a professional wrestler. That's really the only thing you know about Joe as a person. I made it clear I wasn't a big Roman Reigns fan. I didn't hate him. I didn't think he was like the worst thing that ever happened to wrestling, like most people did. But I never hated him. I never wished any ill will on him, and I just feel terrible that this is happening to him because he's he was the top guy in the company, not just on Raw. He's the top guy in the company, regardless of how you felt about him. I always recognized he was the top guy in the company. I always understood why. He had a good look to him. He's a good looking dude. Women loved him. Kids idolized him. Men wanted to be him. He just seemed Joe. Outside of the business, and he appeared on a couple episodes of Up Up Down Down. He came off as just a guy, like a dude, just a dude that you could hang out with, grab a beer with, have dinner, maybe play some video games or whatever. He seems like he likes playing video games. He's a Call of Duty guy. So I don't know. I never really, I always thought he was a good dude, and you would always hear things from other people saying he was a good dude, he was a hard worker. He loved the business. He treated the business with respect. People's vendetta against him was that they didn't like his character, and that was it. And for some odd reason, people just couldn't shake the fact of, oh, I hate his character, so thus I hate him as a person. I, as a wrestling fan, have always been able to separate the character from the person. So with Roman Reigns, and this isn't me just trying to be nice now, but for Roman Reigns, for all intents and purposes, I always thought, he seemed like a decent dude. He seemed like a regular, just a regular guy that you could hang out with, have a beer with. All in all, I hope he pulls through. I hope he's able to come back in the ring whenever that is. I'm reading up on these leukemia, symptoms and whatnot, and there is really no timetable for when or if somebody is able to, just be normal again, just go back to doing their everyday life. So where does this leave the company? And not to sound like a dick, now that the top guy that they've been pushing, for years, where does he go from here? I mean, or where do they go from here? Like, who do they push? I mean, I guess we can kind of segue into what happened on Monday Night Raw later on in the night. What's it called? Elias, they were turning face. I'm not sure if that's permanent or if they're just trying to test the waters. That's kind of something that needs to happen. Elias to me, I think, is way too over to be a heel. I mean, if they want to say, oh, he's a tweener, no, they need to make him a straight up face. He can only go so far with coming out and doing the whole, hey, I'm in Cincinnati, I hate Cincinnati, this place sucks, and then singing about how much he hates Cincinnati. That can only go so far, and I'm pretty sure the people cheer it even while they're booing it. So that works. And then later on in the night, the Shield, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, they defeated Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler to win back the tag team titles. And after the match was over, Dean Ambrose turned on Seth, which when I first heard that, I was thinking, I didn't know how to feel about it because I thought maybe they should have picked a better time to do that. But I don't know. Was that something that they were already planning to do, or was that something that they kind of just thought, this would be the perfect time to do it because, with Roman out, they're heartbroken that the Shield seems like they're going to be no more for a while, and now Dean turns on his best friend, and that gives epic heel heat to Dean, because Seth is the most over babyface on Raw. I think he's right up there with AJ Styles as the most over babyface in the company, in my opinion. So, come the fuck on. Okay, then exit. I'm sorry, guys. These things are just being weird. Yeah, anyways, he's right up there with AJ as the most over babyface in the company. And now you got Dean, who, could be the most most over heel in the company. Or the biggest heel in the company, I must say. He might even have a chance to be bigger than, what's his name? I don't know why I misnamed so much. Tommaso Ciampa. Dean, this is something that, needed to happen from day one. They wanted to wait. They didn't just want to bust their nut on the first night. They wanted to wait until the perfect moment, and then, unfortunately, the moment arrived, and they decided to capitalize on it, which, to me, I like it. When I think about it more and more, I like it more and more. Because, with the top guy gone, who's going to fill that void? Could it be Dean Ambrose? Could it be Seth? Maybe. Seth appeals, to the younger crowd because he just kind of has that cool guy, heavy metal vibe to him. Dean is kind of like the grungy, I'm gonna kick your ass if you ever come near me type of vibe. Who else can take that mantle? I mean, they changed the triple threat match, and now it's just gonna be Braun versus Brock for the Universal title at Crown Jewel, and there's no reason why Braun shouldn't win, because Brock's already been champion, and now they need a guy to kind of hold the company on his back, and Braun seems like their type of dude, and they turn him face again on Raw. So the best choice would be to give him the title. That seems more logical to me. And then you turn him, you give him the title. Who does he feud with? The talk is Drew McIntyre, which I gotta say, since coming back, he seems like he's been a lot more confident. He's gotten a lot better. He actually looks like a badass. When his first run in WWE, I didn't buy it. Like the whole Chosen One gimmick is like he just looked like a pretty boy. He looked like a clean shaven pretty boy, and I didn't like it. I didn't really care too much for it. He went to TNA. He he got some more muscle on him. He dyed his hair. He grew out the beard. He looks like a fucking badass. He looks like someone that could fuck your shit up. So Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman in a program. I can deal with that. Poor Dolph. Where does Dolph go from here? He is pretty much just back to where he was before, which is mid-card hell. The other names you can maybe put in that spot, Finn Balor. I mean, because regardless of the spot they've been putting him in, recently, he's still over as fuck with the crowd. Anytime he comes out, the crowd gives him a huge freaking pop. Like him and Seth Rollins have the biggest pops on Raw. Anytime their music hits, the place goes nuts. And in Finn Balor is someone that I think the company could see as a dude that can represent them as their champion, because Finn's a nice guy. You never hear about him getting in trouble outside of the company. You don't hear about him like doing drugs or drinking or hitting his girlfriend or whatever. He's a good guy. He represents the company, and they, for whatever reason, they're having him represent the LGBTQ community, which, hey, to each his own. I'm all for civil rights and whatnot. But, Finn Balor would seem like a good choice to put in that spot. And he has, he was the first ever Universal Champion. So that would seem interesting. That would seem, like the right way to go as a fan, from a fan's perspective. Another thing they could do is just shuffle people around. The talk is, Batista's coming back to wrestle Triple H for one more match. And, Batista kind of made an interesting comment where on YouTube they show like a 16-minute documentary about the day of the SmackDown 1000 show, where he's coming back from Toronto filming a movie and then he's flying to Washington. He kind of made a comment where, and I'm just paraphrasing here, where he's saying, I miss this place, I'm glad to be back. We'll see what goes from here. Kind of laying the groundwork for maybe coming back. And I'm not trying to, stir the pot or anything. I'm just saying that's what it came off to me. Is that Batista could Batista come back for one more run? One more title run, because you look at him and Shawn Michaels. As much as I love Shawn Michaels does not look like he's better suited for a comeback. Batista looks like he's in better shape than he was whenever he was in his prime. He still looks young, and he's like not that far away from 50. And he can still move around. I'm pretty sure he can go out there and have a good match. Depending on the opponent. Would you put him on Raw or SmackDown? The idea at the moment, I think, will be Raw. since they kind of need star power at the moment. I mean, I think it. I think it'd be a lot more interesting if you put him on SmackDown. You imagine those matchups? Him and AJ, him and Daniel. You got Ray back, him and Miz. Him and Rusev, I think, would be pretty interesting. Him and Almas. But, I think if he were to come back, full time, then they'll more than likely put him on Raw. They're more than likely going to have to pull more guys from yesteryear. They'll expect to see John Cena a lot more than he used to. Maybe or maybe not. I'm just pulling string. I'm just grasping at straws here. Could Chris Jericho come back? Maybe. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't come back. And then there's the talk of the young, what is it? Not the Young Bucks. Well, it is the Young Bucks, but the Elite, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and Young Bucks apparently coming back to WWE in January. So if they do, that would be a huge shot in the arm because again they're going to need all the stars they can get. And then there's this deal with Fox where they're going to premiere, or SmackDown will premiere on Fox next October. This month, next year. And the talk is that Fox, they want stars on the show, and they also want SmackDown to be more of an action, sport type show than a comedy show. Which I don't got a problem with that, because Fox, they have dealt with UFC, so they dealt with the UFC, and they also run legit sports on their program. So to make WWE more of a sporting, more of a sports show, to me makes a lot more sense, and I'm all for it. And more talk coming with that deal. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about it. Is that the brand split is pretty much going to be like donezo by the time that deal goes through, is because again Fox wants stars, so what are they going to do with that? Are they going to go back to just having one set of titles? I think that would make a lot more sense. I think that would be a lot more better. So that way there's a lot more competitiveness, with these titles, and they make them mean something. Like, go back to having just one world title in the company. Get rid of the Universal title, because that fucking title's cursed. Finn wins it, he gets hurt. Kevin Owens, holds on to it for a bit, and he has to job out to Goldberg. And then Goldberg wins it, and he holds it for 15 minutes, and then Brock wins it for a year, and that was, we already know how that abortion panned out. And then Roman wins it, and then we already know what happened to him. Not to sound like a dick or anything, but if they do end up dissolving the brand split, get rid of that title, just go back to it being the WWE title, Intercontinental title, get rid of the US title. The US title is just meaningless. Keep the Cruiserweight title. I'll be fine with that. Just have one set of tag titles and one set of women's titles, especially the women's titles, because the women's division on each show, it just seems meaningless, because there's an ass ton of women on the show, and not all of them are very good. I mean, there's only I guess you want to throw Ronda in there. Ronda's not that bad. I mean, she's very green. She's very new, but I don't hold that against her. She's capable of having a good match when she goes out there. I mean, she's had good matches, but she's very green. Charlotte, obviously, Becky, obviously. I'll still throw in Bayley and Sasha in there. They're very good wrestlers. Asuka, even though they've pretty much turned her into Jackie Chan from fucking Rush Hour. Who else? Mickey James has and always will be a good wrestler. She can still go out there and go. Alexa Bliss, not really her wrestling skills, if you know what I mean. But she can talk. She's a good promo cutter. She doesn't have bad matches, but she's just not a very good wrestler. I'll just put it that way. And then, bring up some of these NXT girls and some of these Mae Young Classic girls. See how that works out. If I sound muffled, I'm putting my hand over my mouth for some reason. Don't ask why. And then, again, one set of tag titles. I think that would work out just fine. There's not a lot of tag teams in the company. And when there are, they don't last that long. The only tag team that's going to stand the test of time is New Day. And The Bar, which has surprisingly lasted a lot longer than expected. Cesaro has done the impossible. Cesaro's done the impossible. He has made me like Sheamus. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think that would ever happen, and I'm surprised it happened. But Cesaro has made me like Sheamus. I want to see Sheamus because of Cesaro. What the fuck is wrong with me? And then, what other tag teams? You have the Usos, who have just kind of faded into obscurity. And it's not their fault, it's just the company's fault, because they want the focus on New Day, which, again, New Day sells merch. I don't think they're ever going to break up. I mean, apparently Xavier has made it very clear that they don't ever want to break up, and they will actually, take the risk of getting fired if they don't agree to, break up and branch out. Which, wouldn't bother me, because all three of those guys have an upside in this company. Big E having the bigger upside, no pun intended. He's a guy that before the New Day, he was just kind of like a big body guy, and he wasn't really doing much. And then he comes in the New Day and he shows that he has a personality and that he can be funny. At the same time, he can also be serious. So he can go out there and have a good match, and now he's capable of, talking people into the building and, entertaining people. Kofi is Kofi. Kofi is, the workhorse of the company. He is a guy who can go out there and have a good match with just about anyone. Can he be a world champion? Probably not. I mean, and there's no shame in having that, that Intercontinental Championship career. A lot of the greats, a lot of the Hall of Famers, they had that Intercontinental Championship career. Like Roddy, British Bulldog, to name a few. And Kofi's Kofi. People love Kofi. You never hear anyone say anything bad about Kofi. They love Kofi. And I've always been a Kofi fan. I would like to see him as a world champion, but I doubt that would ever happen. Xavier, I think, kind of half and half. He's a good wrestler, but I think he's better suited as a talker, like maybe a manager, maybe even a commentator. You put him on 205 Live, he could probably be the most popular over babyface of that brand. So that's just my opinion. So that's pretty much the landscape of the WWE so far. I mean, do they kind of pull I guess, what's the term? Do they kind of jump the shark and, pull some NXT guys up? I don't think they should, because that would kind of ruin not necessarily ruin, but, you already have something going on in NXT. Let them do their thing and worry about what you're doing on the main roster. Because Aleister Black, the truth came out. I guess I'll. Should I spoil it for you? No, I'm just going to spoil it for you anyway. The truth came out about who really attacked Aleister Black. It was revealed at the NXT tapings. Johnny Gargano was the attacker. Nikki Cross whispered it into Aleister Black's ear, and it showed Aleister Black enraged in the ring. And it didn't happen on that show, but I think it happens like in a later show. I think it might happen on like an NXT before, or like around the Survivor Series takeover, maybe. But yeah, they're turning Johnny Gargano heel, which I don't really see the. I don't know how to feel. I won't know how to feel about that until I actually see it. Because at this point, I can't take Gargano serious as a heel. I mean, I can hardly even take him serious as a badass babyface. He's an over babyface. The people fucking love him. I love him. But when he tries to be a badass, it doesn't work. I just see a 12-year-old kid. I see me when I was 12 and I was trying to be tough. It didn't work. You know, my cats look more intimidating than Johnny Gargano when he's trying to be tough. So I guess I won't really know until I actually see it. I mean, is this a possible way to reunite DIY and make them a heel tag team? I mean, that would be pretty fucking awesome. You can do the whole thing, you know, where it's like, you know, if you can't beat him, join him. And I haven't been able to beat, you know, Tommaso, so now I'm going to join him. Now we're going to reform DIY. We're going to be the evil DIY. And I'm down with that. Yeah, that's really about it. We can go through the Evolution card, which is this Sunday. Alright, WWE Evolution at Uniondale, New York, Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. It will have women from all 4 brands, Raw, SmackDown, NXT UK. And some, I believe, some Mae Young Classic participants, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, this looks like it might be the first match of the night. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya versus the Riot Squad. I say give this to the Riot Squad. I'm a fan of the Riot Squad. I'm a big fan of Ruby Riot. I think she's one of the better, more underutilized workers in the company. She can talk, she can work. You know, and I have a newfound respect for her after that video I watched about her on YouTube where, you know, it just shows her with her family. She comes off as someone who's very kind-hearted and generous, and that would, you know, let you cry on her shoulder if you were having a bad day. So, I don't know if she does that personally, but she just comes across as a genuine person, so I like her. Liv Morgan, I don't... She's okay. She kind of seems like a nut job, but she seems like a good nut job. Sarah Logan is not very good in the ring. I don't know too much about her, so pretty much I just like the Riot Squad. I want them to win. I can't stand Sasha. I love Bayley, and my heart breaks for her anytime I see her do anything now. Natalya it's only a matter of time before she finally decides to call it a day. So, yeah, there's that. So yeah, Riot Squad, I want them to win. Women's Battle Royal for a Women's Championship match. Here are their participants so far. I'm looking at it right now. Tamina, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Ember Moon, Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Asuka, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, Lana, Naomi, Tori Wilson, Michelle McCool, Alundra Blaze, Ivory, Kelly Kelly, Maria Kanellis, Molly Holly, and Zelina Vega, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be more people announced. It's supposed to be for our number 1 contender for the Women's Championship. I would say let Asuka win, but I don't even know if they have faith in her. The talk is that they don't take her seriously because she can't really speak English that well, which is like, why are you signing all these wrestlers from all over the globe, but you expect them to speak picture perfect English? That just kind of, you know, boggles my mind. So I mean, I guess I go with Asuka. I don't know who she would face. I mean, she's on SmackDown, so she would go against Becky Lynch or Charlotte. I will be right back. I am going to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. I'm just going to put this on pause. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. It just came up out of nowhere. Where the fuck was I at? Oh yeah, the Women's Battle Royal. Number 1 contender. Yeah, Asuka. Looking at all these choices, Asuka it seems like the most rational choice. But then again, this is WWE. We're talking about. They'll probably try and shock the world and choose like someone who's not very good, like a. I mean, well, I was gonna say Nia Jax, but she's been kind of garbage lately. I don't know. Maybe Tamina. That's because that's Mish's girl. Carmella fucking sucks. Is it me or does she look more and more like a fucking alien anytime I see her? She put out some pic on Twitter where I guess it was for like a shoot for some type of magazine or I don't know what the fuck it was, and she's fucking like bronzed as fuck or tan as fuck. You can hardly even recognize her because I look at pictures of when she was in NXT with Enzo and Cass. I look at those and I look at her now. I'm just thinking, why in the fuck would she want to change her look that bad? Because obviously there's like somebody in the back. I don't know if it was an agent or it had to be an agent. Somebody saying, "Hey, your lips are looking kind of thin, or your butt's looking kind of small, or your tits look kind of small." So she decided to just like completely fuck up her face and look like an alien. Because in NXT, when I saw her, I was like, she's actually a very pretty girl. She's very pretty. She looks very natural. She gets on the main roster, she gets a push, and she just looks completely just plastic as fuck. And to me, I don't get the whole thing behind just looking like a complete fucking fake, human being. I don't get it. I get it and I don't get it because like plastic. Some people get surgery for medical reasons, like if you break your nose, you fix it, or you need plastic surgery for something for like a broken bone, like I just mentioned. But then there's the ones that are just like, I'm a naturally pretty girl. Now I'm gonna look like a fake Barbie doll. Like Paige. Paige. Naomi. I love Naomi. Naomi just seems like the sweetest, kindest person you'll ever meet. But her as a wrestler, no. She's not terrible, but no. Lana, no. Sonya Deville, no. Mandy Rose, good to look at, not very good in the ring. Peyton Royce to be okay, double no. Ember Moon, Ember Moon, I think Ember Moon and Asuka are the best wrestlers in this battle royal. Ember Moon, I think, needs more time before she is able to, get a title shot. Alicia Fox, no. Nia Jax, as mentioned, no. Dana Brooke, fuck no. Maria Kanellis, bye. Zelina Vega, I haven't seen her wrestle all that much, so I need to watch her wrestle more. I like her, by the way. And then like the legends, quote unquote, they're coming in. Tori Wilson, has never been good in the ring. I'm almost certain that she's even said that she's not very good. Michelle McCool's good in the ring. She's not a legend like people claim to be. She's married to The Undertaker. Let's just be real. Alundra Blaze, Hall of Famer. Ivory, Hall of Famer, very good. Kelly. Molly Holly. Molly Holly was very good. That's someone I can picture them wanting to put in the Hall of Fame next. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more names. Supposedly, I heard they contacted Sable, but she wanted no part of it. But she didn't rule out, making a comeback. I think it'd be interesting if they bring her back into the fold with Brock. But then again, I don't think Brock wants her anywhere near the company right now. So yeah. Anyways, after this match, yeah, I chose Asuka to win. Next match, Trish Stratus and Lita versus Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. The talk is that Alexa Bliss might have hurt herself again over the weekend. They haven't said what. They haven't announced that she's going to be pulled out of this match. If they do, that's very unfortunate. How did she even get hurt, by the way? She suffered a concussion at a WWE live event, so that makes sense. They take concussions very seriously. Even if you have like a mild concussion, they won't take any chances with you. So, will she be pulled from the match, or have her replaced, or just have her not put in any offense? Like have Mickey do all the offense and have Alexa come in for a little bit and either have her get that sneaky heel pin, or have Trish. Well, I was gonna say Stratisfaction or chip kick, but a concussion and a kick don't go well together. Yeah, I can picture that happening. Mickey will get all the offense in and do all the work, and then Alexa will come in for the heel pin, and or Mickey will walk up the ramp and just kind of give that sly little devilish heel smile. Why the fuck do I keep coughing? So I think that'll happen. They might replace her, but I don't. You put too much time and money into that. Oh man, there's a lot of coughing. Next match, the Mae Classic Tournament final match: Io Shirai versus Toni Storm. I don't know anything about these two girls. I hear so much stuff about Io Shirai. I hear that she's, the next big, star. I was gonna say Asian star, but the next big Asian, star on the roster. She's supposedly, better than Asuka. I've seen some pictures of her. She looks good, by the way. Toni Storm, don't know much about her. Sorry guys, I don't watch every single thing of wrestling that's on television. So I'm sorry, but I don't. There's too much of it. I already have a lot of shit to do outside of this. So I'm sorry if I don't pay attention to every type of wrestling that's out there. I don't know. I'll go for Io Shirai because other people are going for her. And she, from what I've seen from her, she's actually very good, and she looks good. All right, next match, the singles match for the NXT UK Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley versus, to be determined. Rhea Ripley, I'm going to go for her because from what I read about her, she's actually a San Antonio girl. Like, she was trained. She actually, I'm looking at her resume. She was born in Australia. And then she was a 2-time RCW Women's Champion, which is, what? The fuck? Yeah, I read about her, and she supposedly got her start here in San Antonio, so that's kind of big ups for me. I don't know who she's facing. It doesn't say here. So we'll have to find that out. Next match, NXT Women's Championship, Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler. I would say give it to Sane, or just let Sane have this. I like Kairi Sane. I was kind of undecided on her whole, pirate princess gimmick, but I was like, oh, it's actually kind of cute. And then she can go out there and wrestle and look like a badass, and she gives one mean elbow drop. So I'm going to stick with her. Shayna Baszler, I have a theory on something that she could do later in the night, so I'll keep it until I get to the main event. So yeah, Sane, keep it on her. Last woman standing match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. The talk, dating back to the last show, was that Becky might be working with a jaw injury, and she might have to drop it in this match to go heel. Nobody has said anything about the status of her injury. The only thing I know is that she hasn't been wrestling in too many matches on SmackDown. So that can either be good or bad. I'm not sure what that means. I would imagine this is the last match in their feud, because they've wrestled 3 times, and this would be their third match. So, well, technically, I guess 4 if you want to count the triple threat at SummerSlam. I'm interested to see where this match goes. They did a vignette for SmackDown where Charlotte was teaching at the Performance Center, and then Becky comes out and beats the shit out of her. I haven't seen that video as of yet. I'll probably watch it after this show's done. From what I hear, it was kind of silly and amateurish TNA level stuff. All bad TNA level stuff. So this match, I don't have high hopes for it, because I'm at the point where I want to see this feud done. If Becky's not hurt, I want to see her move on from this feud and have her feud against whomever. Have her feud against Asuka. If she wins, have her feud against just have her feud against Asuka. That seems like the way to go. Charlotte might win if that injury is true, and have her feud with Asuka. So my choice is Becky, and if she's hurt, then I think Charlotte might win it. Anyways, main event time, Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella for the Women's Championship. This match is going to be hard to watch, because you're going to have to see Ronda sell for Nikki. She can beat the shit out of Triple H. She beats the shit out of any security people that are always somehow in her contract signings. But she's gonna have to sell for Nikki. And I can almost smell a fuck finish happening. Here's what I think would happen. The Bellas are gonna enlist Shayna Baszler. They're gonna talk to her. They're gonna say, "Hey, Ronda, Ronda thinks you suck. Ronda doesn't think you're that good. Blah blah blah." They manipulate her into wanting to attack Ronda during the match and cost her the title. So that way, you can kind of save, Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey for WrestleMania, and it kind of writes the match kind of writes itself. Ronda loses, she feuds with Shayna for a bit, and then she wins the Women's Battle Royal or Women's Royal Rumble at the Royal Rumble, and then cashes her ticket to face Nikki at Mania and wins the title back. So that kind of writes itself. It's not going to be a beautiful feud. It was interesting before when, Ronda supposedly had creative control in her promo against Nikki a couple weeks ago when she said, the only doors you've broken down are John Cena's bedroom. And that's probably the best thing you can do for Ronda, is just let her write her own shit. Because Ronda can talk shit. So don't write for her. Don't write for Ronda. If they don't do the whole thing with Shayna, they're probably going to use Twin Magic. But I think Shayna Baszler, costing her the match is the way to go. It makes, better sense. Twin Magic, I think, would be too cheap. If you're gonna have a fuck finish, at least have a fuck finish that makes sense. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much all the matches for Evolution. I guess I can do Crown Jewel real quick. And just finish up the whole wrestling talk and get on to, different non-wrestling news. Too much coughing. As far as the 5 matches go that are on the docket so far, Sheamus and Cesaro versus the New Day for the tag titles. I keep it on Sheamus and Cesaro since they now have Big Show on their side. The WWE World Cup, which has they have 8 people, 7 of them are American, and 1 of them is Mexican. Go figure. I'm not sure what the matchups are. Actually, I'm looking at the matchups. I think these are the matchups. John Cena versus Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton, Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler, The Miz versus Rey Mysterio. That seems like a very interesting matchup. Those won't be bad matches, but Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton, we've seen like 8 million times before. Cena versus Angle, we've seen 8 million times. Seth Rollins versus Dolph, we've seen 8 million times. Miz versus Rey Mysterio just happened tonight, and I haven't got a chance to watch it, but I heard it was actually a pretty good match. So, who would I pick to win this? To be honest, I don't care. I have this sneaking suspicion that they're going to give it to John Cena. Just because. That's just my opinion. What other matches are on the card? D-Generation X versus the Brothers of Destruction. I don't care. I just want this feud to be over and for these guys to go back home. I want Kane to go back to fucking Tennessee and continue being the mayor. Like, how is that city okay with him coming out here and being a wrestler, wearing that weird fruit by the foot mask? So, I gotta pick a winner. I could DX, I guess. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, WWE Championship. This is interesting on how they're making this feud, because they're not doing the whole, hey, we're best friends, hey, we're wrestlers, hey, we respect each other. It's like, no, they're going to cause some dissension, and it's kind of interesting because I'm getting this feeling that somebody's going to turn heel. I don't know why, but I just am. I'm getting this feeling that AJ might turn heel. And that kind of needs to happen. I mean, it was kind of like with CM Punk's title reign, where CM Punk was, the champion for a year, and then when that year was about to hit, that's when he turned heel. And what better, who better to turn heel against than Daniel Bryan, who, regardless of, what I've said about him, even though his comeback has been very blah as of late, he is still over with the fans. The fans love him. He can still go out there and have a great match. Him and AJ are going to have a great match. I'm getting this feeling that AJ might be heel. That's just me. Or maybe Daniel might turn heel. So, I would say keep it on AJ. AJ needs to hold on to that title for as long as possible. Main event, singles match for the vacant U.S. Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. Give it to Braun. Brock already had it. I think he's kind of done being champion. Brock's in a position where he doesn't need to be a champion. He just needs to be an attraction. As much as I shit on Brock sells tickets. When Brock is, on the marquee card, people are going to come because Brock he's an attraction. If I had to guess, this match would probably be like 8 minutes, 8 or 10 minutes. So just give it to Braun. Braun with Roman out, Braun needs to be the guy, and kids love Braun. Give it to Braun. That's really all that needs to be said. So yeah, that's it for the wrestling half of my news. We can get into what's going on in the world of Marvel and DC. Last week, on Friday, it was reported that Luke Cage was canceled from Netflix. And this was a couple days after it was announced that Iron Fist was canceled from Netflix. The talk is that it's more of a creative difference. Because that's something to do with view numbers, because Luke Cage, people actually watched Luke Cage. First season was very good. Second season was good, but it wasn't great. It's not like with Iron Fist, where the first season sucked and the second season was better, which they still shouldn't have canceled that, by the way. Unfortunately, Marvel's Luke Cage will not return for a third season. Netflix and Marvel said in a joint statement, everybody at Marvel Television and Netflix is grateful to the dedicated showrunner, writers, cast, and crew who brought Harlem's hero to life for the past 2 seasons, and all the fans who have supported the series. Uh, Basically, reading this, it just sounded like creative differences. Because it couldn't have been the overall, show itself. Um, that Devin, has a theory that they're canceling the shows so Marvel Studios can absorb them and put them on their own streaming service that they have, and quite possibly put them in the movies, which makes sense because you look at these characters, they're all supposed to be connected, but they're blocked from ever doing anything in the movie, and that just sucks because it's like you had a perfect opportunity, years ago to do something with Daredevil, put him in Civil War, or put him in Infinity War. I mean, granted, you already had a shit ton of superheroes in Infinity War, but you could have done something. You could have had Luke Cage come out for a minute while all that shit was happening in New York in the beginning of the movie. So and again, when I see Spider-Man in Queens, how does he not swing by Hell's Kitchen and see what the fuck's happening there? So I just don't get it. I don't get why they're blocking these people from being in the show or being in the movies. You're denying the fans of a good product, of something that could bring in millions of fucking dollars. I don't get it. So yeah, Iron Fist and Luke Cage are done. What does that do for those characters? The characters aren't done. The show is just done. So, are you gonna make a Heroes for Hire show? I'm fucking up that word. Heroes for Hire, which seems like the way to go. Are you gonna do the Daughters of the Dragon, which seems like a way to go? Which I want to fucking see that. I will watch anything with Colin Wing in it. Anything, almost anything. I'll just watch her just eat a bag of potato chips and just watch TV. That's how much I would watch her in anything. As for the other Netflix shows, they're worried Jessica Jones might be in danger. Punisher, Daredevil, which I doubt it because Daredevil just had probably their best season. Possibly even better than the first season, or on par with the first season. I just finished it today, or yesterday technically. It's very good. And not to spoil anything, because eventually I'm going to review it with Devin on the YouTube channel, the Binge Watching with Yari. And again, very good story, very good villains. They make it simple and to the point. They bring in Bullseye. They don't give him the suit just yet. As you saw in the trailer, if you did watch this trailer and the show, he works for Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin. Kingpin hires the guy who made Daredevil's suit in the first season, and he gave him a fake Daredevil suit, and he paraded as Daredevil going around killing people, so that way Fisk can say, Daredevil's the real problem, not me. I'm a good dude. So, very good storyline, good acting. I think Charlie Cox knocked it out of the park. Foggy and Karen, love both of them. Karen, you saw more of her backstory later on in the show. Sister Maggie, who's taking care of Matt Murdock since he was a kid, and reveals a shocking secret later on in this series. I won't say what. You'll just have to watch it. They bring in an original character named Agent Nadeem, who's working for the FBI, who's trying to take down Fisk. And then eventually it's revealed that Fisk is pretty much, he owns the FBI. He has the FBI in his pocket, and Nadeem finds this out and has to pretty much just kind of kowtow to him. So I didn't think I was going to like him, but I liked him. He was very likable. I liked the actor playing him. I have no idea who the actor's name is. I think his name was I looked at it, I think it was Jay Ali, if I'm not mistaken. And that character is not from the comics, which I'm okay with. I'm all for adding original characters into something, as long as it works. So, yeah, Daredevil Season 3, watch it. If you like Daredevil, even if you don't even like Marvel or anything superhero related, watch it. It's a good show. It's not just a good superhero show; it's a good show. A lot of these Netflix shows are presented with the more like street-based, realistic characters who don't have superpowers. Well, Luke Cage has superpowers. He has unbreakable skin. Jessica Jones has super strength. She can kind of fly. They got Iron Fist. But they're not the flashy, MCU Marvel characters. So they're more grounded in realism. So yeah, watch that friggin' show. What else is going on in the news today? I had this page up and then it decided to cancel on me. Wonder Woman got pushed back about 7 months to June 6th or 7th, 2020. Pulling it up right now. Hollywood Reporter. Because I remember it was actually supposed to come on next year. And alright. It's supposed to come out November 1st, 2019, and they got pushed back to June 5th, 2020. And trying to see why it got pushed back. Saying. I read somewhere they got pushed back because I think Star Wars is coming out on that same date. So they decided to go, yeah, we'll let Star Wars have their fun. I don't know if they wanted to compete, but yeah, that's what I heard. And 2020 means it will have its own slot and not have to compete with Todd Phillips' Joker, which premieres a few weeks before October 4th, 2018. Okay, that makes sense. It's not good to have two DC movies premiere around the same time. It's kind of like in Thor, Dark World, and the end credits. It's not wise to have two Infinity Stones together. It's not wise to have two DC movies premiere within a month together. Because that Joker movie looks like it's going to be good. I didn't have faith in it. I was like, why make a Joker movie if it doesn't have Batman or even Harley Quinn in it? But Joaquin Phoenix, I have faith in him. I've always liked him as an actor. He can play creepy. He can play intimidating. He can play evil. So that'll work. What other movie news are coming out? Halloween. I saw Halloween last Friday when it premiered. Very good movie. It kind of got mixed reviews from certain people. If you were a fan of the old one, you probably won't like this one all that much. And if you weren't a fan of the old one, you'll probably like this. I don't know how that works. I know I saw a friend of mine just say, I liked it, but was it amazing? Meh. So, and I don't know. I liked it. I personally liked it. It was a lot better than the Rob Zombie fucking abortions. I'll tell you that much. This one actually had a story. It had better acting. Jamie Lee Curtis was, awesome as usual. Judy Greer, I thought she did a pretty good job. The granddaughter, I thought she did a pretty good job. Yeah, good story. It was very short and simple and to the point. There's kind of that inside joke of like, he only killed like 4 kids on Halloween night. That's very passe. That's kind of dull when it comes to how people are killed, nowadays. So where we saw it, we went to Alamo Drafthouse. I'm not sure if Drafthouse is like a Texas-oriented type of thing. But we saw it at Alamo Drafthouse. And for Drafthouse, when there's like big movies, they do this thing where like, if you go see a certain movie, there'll be like a theme to it because they'll show old school commercials for whatever. Because I saw, what's it called? I saw Sicario 2, and they were showing, I guess, commercials for like drugs, for drug ads or whatever. And I saw Hereditary, and Hereditary they were showing a lot of like, promos and commercials for like different types of kind of psychological horror movies. For this, it was it was obviously very Halloween themed, and for this, they decided before the movie actually started showing, they were showing like a promo, I guess, to set up, the first one or whatever. I look to my right because me and my girlfriend are sitting in the front. Me and my girlfriend and her sister are sitting in the front. I look to my right and I see like curtains. I'm like, wait, when the fuck did I never even saw those curtains? As the music's playing and like the lights are kind of like going in and out, I see someone come out of those curtains. I'm thinking, I'm assuming it's a guy dressed up as Michael Myers, and it was. I wasn't very impressed because I saw him coming, first of all, and second, he was not very tall. He was probably my height, and I think I'm like 5'9". If you're going to dress up as Michael Myers, at least be tall. At least be like 6'6" or 6'5". I always say that I kept kind of comparing it to this. It's like when a parent hires some guy to be Spider-Man for their kid's birthday party, but then the guy gets there and he's like very kind of tubby and out of shape. He can't do flips or kicks. He can only just like jump. That's why I kind of equated it to. And he just left after that. I remember after we got out of the movie, I went to the restroom, and Draft House has these kind of weird restrooms. They're a combination of big and kind of very like stuffy at the same time, because like it seems like you're going down it kind of seems like you're going behind a wall, if that makes sense. Like, you ever seen movies where people are going like behind the walls to look for something? That's what this is kind of like. Like, I went to the urinals to pee, and I'm thinking in my head, that motherfucker in that Michael Myers suit better not come out and try to scare me, because I will piss all over him. So I'm not going to be like the idiot in a horror movie. Oh, hey, guy. Oh, nice suit. I'm very impressed. Oh, no, you're going to kill me? No, I wouldn't be like that. I would fucking piss on him and run. Yeah, the movie's very good. It doesn't skim on the violence. Not on the level of like Rob Zombie, where it's like, we're gonna cut this dude's head off, and we're gonna show you exactly how we do it. Like, for example, there's a scene in the movie where like there's a cop car that shows up, and then the guy opens it, and both cops are dead. One of them, I think I guess he blew his brains out or something, and the other, Michael Myers, actually cut off the dude's head and used it as a jack-o'-lantern. To me, that's more scary, because it's like, I would be more freaked out if I saw that, rather than like, let's show you how I cut off this guy's head, detail by detail. It's like, I don't need to see that. The fact that I just see it already is fucking terrifying. I don't need to actually see it. That's what I didn't like about Rob Zombie movies, is because like, he's very much into showing the violence. He glorifies the violence, and that's why his Halloween movies were not that good, because they just exposed the violence. They basically made it into a gore fest, and I'm not a big fan of gore. So yeah, Halloween, definitely check it out. You're gonna like it. And I will end the show with this. I actually didn't get to talk about this on the show last week, but there was apparently a trailer description for Infinity War that came out, and it's almost too good to be true. But I will read it anyway. It begins with someone saying, I want to disclose who I am or how I know this, but go ahead and save this and come back to me in a few weeks. You're welcome. The trailer starts off showing the damaged Infinity Gauntlet in a field on the foreign planet. As the camera focuses in on the gauntlet, we hear Tony's voice, "We were destined to lose." Epic music score starts. The Quinjet is showing landing in a Wakandan wasteland. As we hear Steve say, "We have come so far." Tony and Nebula step out of the jet as the remaining Avengers approach. Steve has a look of relief and says, "Tony." Tony, seemingly defeated, shakes his head and gives a friendly smirk back to Cap. Marvel Studios logo appears. We get a glimpse of the Battle of New York from 2012 Avengers. Loki is shown looking shocked and baffled as he is on the top of the Stark Tower. There is a flash of blue light as the camera pans back, cuts to black. Next, we see the Wakandan throne with M'Baku at the helm. He's surrounded by his new Kingsguard, a mix of the Hill Tribe and Dora Milaje. Shuri and Banner are seen working together on a new project in the lab. Black Widow in full gear is in Hawkeye's family home from Age of Ultron. Basically, everything is thrown all over the place and broken. That is studying some type of map with multiple photos and locations on it. A quick shot of Thanos is shown with a long sword walking down an alleyway in New York City. The next shot is a hooded, dark figure with glowing eyes, aiming a bow and arrow before shooting towards the camera, Ronan. One or two visuals of the quantum realm. Scott Lang, no suit, is shown running through a park, dodging explosions. Shot of space. Thor and Valkyrie are aboard a Kree ship. Thor says, "If the stories are true, you're our universe's last hope, if such a thing even existed." The next shot is an older, determined Tony Stark walking through the new S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ's Avengers facility in upstate New York. He is in full S.H.I.E.L.D. attire and carrying an orange briefcase. Banner, wearing spandex, is seen running from something looking terrified. The next shot is Ant-Man appearing out of a flash of light and landing in a desolate place. We see it from his point of view, from inside his helmet. He looks left to right and to his left again and says, "What in the?" Camera focuses on Vormir and its stars. Next, a shot of Rocket and Nebula modifying some new weapons in the lab. Rocket says, "When can we try this bad boy out?" They both smile at each other and give a fist bump. We get our first glimpse of Iron Man in his red and gold nanotech armor. Hulk falls from the sky, lands in front of him. Thanos in full armor smiles. Hulk smiles back. Next shot is in Japan. War Machine, Nat, and Steve in their full Avengers gear are surrounded by the Yakuza. Hawkeye, who's not Ronin, walks everybody from behind them and approaches the Avengers. There's an intense exchange of looks between Clint and Natasha. Next shot is at the Sanctum. Wong is communicating with Doctor Strange's soul via portal. Cuts to black. Gray-haired Tony Stark and Ant-Man are in a post-apocalyptic NYC. The screen flashes back and forth multiple times and through multiple scenes. We see Captain Marvel floating with her fists on fire and her eyes light up. Thanos in the Soul Stone with the young Gamora screaming at him. Loki and Thor fighting off Chitauri together. And Tony handing Steve a brand new shield in the Wakandan throne room. Cuts back to Tony and Scott. Tony opens the orange briefcase as Scott hands him an illuminated bracelet. Tony asks, "How? Is this even possible?" Tony and Ant-Man are shown in traveling through the quantum realm. Tony and Scott are back in the Battle of New York in 2012. The final shot before the title reveal is an Infinity Stone disappearing from Thanos' damaged gauntlet. He abruptly gets up and puts on his armor. His face goes from extremely infuriated to a menacing smile. Title reveal, Avengers Annihilation. And then finally, the Hulk is training at the new S.H.I.E.L.D. facility with Black Widow and Steve. Steve notices that Hulk has been training non-stop as of late, so he asks why. Hulk responds in Banner's normal voice with, "My rematch is coming soon, I can feel it." End quote. This is way too good to be true, because with a lot of the behind-the-scenes footage that they've been showing, because they're showing shit that happened in the first Avengers movie. They showed Tony and Scott and Steve back in New York for the first Avengers, and Hulk as well. So I'm under the impression that they're going to go back in time and, take some Infinity Stones and make their own Infinity Gauntlet and, bring everybody back to life, because, I've been saying this for a while, that everyone who was dusted, they're not really dead, they're just inside the Soul Stone. And I think the Russo brothers kind of confirmed that. So I mean, unless this is a way to throw people off, because they made it very clear that Avengers 4 is not the type of movie you think it's going to be. Because when you looked at Infinity War, a lot of the shit that was in the trailer didn't happen. So, I'm getting this gut feeling that the Avengers 4 trailer we won't get until like a month before the movie comes out. Because Captain Marvel comes out in March. And then literally a month after that is Avengers 4. I think if Marvel really wanted to fuck with people, they really should just release the trailer, like, literally after Captain Marvel. Like, after the trailer, or after the movie's done, you show a post-credit scene, and then after the credits are officially done, that's when you show the Avengers 4 trailer. If you really, like, if Marvel really, really, really wanted to fuck with people, you show that. And that's literally the only trailer you show. And I think that would be fucking brilliant. It would piss me the fuck off, and I'd want to punch somebody, but I think that would be brilliant. But that's just me. Anywho, that's about it. That's really it. I have no more news for today, or tonight, or whatever you want to call it. What's my next show? I need to get back on. I need to start getting more caught up to Purge, because me and Devin are supposed to review it for Binge Watching with Yari, which the first episode dropped on YouTube. If you want to check it, go to the Ice channel, which I will leave the link on in the description box. What else? Make sure you listen to Ice Podcast, Nerdocalypse. They post not just podcasts up there, but videos. Devin will post, comic books or movies that he has. I'm not looking forward to the meeting that we're supposed to have later on tonight. That's all I gotta say. Make sure you listen to Architect. If you're into nerdy stuff, kind of like the shit I talk about, but they focus primarily on movies, cons, more nerdy stuff than me. Listen to them; they're pretty good. I like them. Wrestling Soup. They don't. Again, I always say they don't need me to plug their shit, but I do it because I respect those dudes. Love them. Mish was more than cool to be on the show. I'm still trying to get John Draper to be on the show. I love John Draper to be on the show. Joey Numbers, I would love to be on the show. So yeah, listen to them and go to their Patreon page for just $5. For just $5, you get every single Wrestling Soup episode's ever existed. For just $5, you get great content also. Like Global Botting by John Draper, which is one of my personal favorites. The Fag Show, Frank and Gus. Side Salad. And Whatever Your Heart Desires. And then DTKC. I actually had to cancel my Patreon membership for DTKC due to I'm kind of struggling financially at the moment. So I had to make a couple financial cuts. I will be back, by the way. I will be back. This isn't the first time I had to leave, due to financial reasons. I will be back. So, yeah, DTKC, same thing. Sign up for $5, get, extra content. Like, Castle Chronicles, Dark Chronicles, blah, blah, blah. And then, you got Don Tony with Breakfast with Blasey, which is you can catch it on Spreaker, I believe, every Wednesday. And then he'll post like a unedited version or a commercial-free version on Patreon. And then you got the main show, DTKC, which comes out every Monday after Monday Night Raw. So catch that. What are some other good shows? I think that's really about it. As far as the show goes, Spreaker, the main home for Spreaker. This This episode will post immediately on Spreaker. It will post later on the day on stuff like iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. I think it goes automatically on iHeartRadio since it's connected to Spreaker. I think it does the same thing for Spotify. And there's Podbean, there's Castbox, and there's Stitcher. And YouTube as well. Remember to head on over to iTunes and just leave a review. Post a rating, tell me what you like about the show. Don't be afraid to tell me what you don't like. I can take criticism. Tell me what you think I should talk more about on the show. And also Twitter, same thing, Drew Yari Show. If you have any questions or comments or requests, make sure to tweet at me or to email me or to actually just tweet at me. My email's kind of messed up. But yeah, tweet at me and just. You have any questions, I'll answer them on the show. Any requests, just anything. Or just to say hi. And that's about it, guys. And take care, and have a good night.